Okay, I'm live. Nice. All right. So last time I worked on something funny. You guys were there, then you know what I'm talking about. I made a Karen bot. If you're new from the heaven banning bot clip, this is another Twitter bot where essentially I'm making a bot that is gonna destroy the world. No, just kidding. That's not. We're not doing that here. We're not destroying the world. But we're using an LLM to generate content in an intelligent way where we're arguing with Twitter customer support. That's why it's a Karen bot, because it argues with customer support. And for different Twitter accounts, we can test with like Wendy's or like some random Twitter account. And we're going to try to see if we did it for one account. And the way the script, I'll just go over how the script works. Hey, what's up, Art? Yeah, it's gonna be fun. This so I'm gonna try to at least in the code walk through how to scale up KarenBot. Um, KarenBot is I think there's a lot of potential in KarenBot. So the idea of KarenBot is you have this autonomous bot that's essentially trying to get you deals with like you just like I want to see if we can. I won't be able to scale it up to 1,000 today. I'll just be straight up, but because I'm just going to be working on my computer, but the code will be able to scale up to 1,000. Maybe we'll just scale up to like 4 today, or like 8 different different customer support lines. And we want to, because I eventually want to just have, and I want to have like an emailer script to email myself, but I want to have a way when we actually get a deal. But I want to have a way to uh, and if you don't know how this bot works, please just go look at the Karen bot stream. If you don't like, if just for anyone watching the stream after the fact, so I know some people trickle in later. We're gonna be doing this based off the Karen bot. So this is a part 2 to the Karen bot. Also, I mean, in general, if you just want to know how to make a bot army, this is a good video. And what I mean by bot army, so let me do some description here. Description. So Karen bot. What we made last time, customer support negotiator bot that will complain to a Twitter account for a company and try to get a deal. Once it gets a deal, it it sends a notification. We didn't do the notification piece. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to make a notifier emailer. That's super simple. But the first things first, I want to actually make the script that will, I want to make a bot army script to scale our bots. And I want to make it good enough that we can scale up the heaven banning bot as well. I want to make it abstract enough that it's just something to scale up web scraping routines. It's really all it is. Or let's just do Karen bot for now. But I want to make it generic enough because I want to do a lot of bot streams because I think they're hilarious. And hopefully we can, I want to make this script good so we can like scale it up. And I'll combine this with the Karen bot and open source it. If someone wants me to, I won't do it if no one cares. But I've been open sourcing mostly everything. Seems like people like the open source. There's a lot of engagement on there, but I don't have to open source everything because See, did Wendy's respond to the KarenBot? I have no idea. Did what? That's a good point. Did Wendy's ever respond? Let's see, Everyday Tech Bro. Am I logged in to Everyday Tech Bro? I did not check. Yeah, so and what we're doing today is we're making a script to essentially, I'll show you how I would go about. Someone followed this? What kind of psycho followed this? This account. All right, let's see. Let's go to Everyday Tech Bro. Let's see. Let's go to. I don't think so. Let's see. Let's go to messages. No, it didn't. They didn't reply. But let's see. So we gotta thank you, average man, and then some random guy followed. I don't. The guy who this might be a bot that followed the account. So the bot let me get it the Aki way. That like Aki, that like New York sandwich guy. PO's person of color, furry, they, them. I make music. That doesn't sound like a real person. Are there people like that now? Is that like a real person? Why would you follow this account? It's so weird. Um, a furry, a they, them furry followed Everyday Tech Bro. That's such a bot. Anyway, um, so let's scale up the Karen bots. I also want to scale up the heaven banning bot to be like, so this one doesn't need to scale. So there's a few ways we can scale. So this is how this will work. So we can have X amount of bot accounts. So essentially, so right now we have a config, so we can have not just a config or the config JSON is an array of accounts, so we can do that. We could do that for now. Does that matter? Yeah, we can do that. So in the that makes sense. So config JSON is an array of accounts, and we can have Y. Isn't it funny when people just keep doing X, Y, Z? Why does it start when people say variables? Why does it start at X, Y, Z? Because you touch yourself at night. No, I don't know why. Why it's like, Daddy, why do people die? Why is murder still around? Because you touch yourself at night. Remember that from Family Guy? Nah, no one even remembers Family Guy. God. Well, it's funny, they still make Family Guy, but it's actually so bad now. It's so bad. All right, so we have Y. We have X amount of bot counts. We're gonna have Y amount of accounts to be Karen. So the way it'll work, we'll say we'll be like node bot army, and we'll just pass it. Actually, we'll pass it. We'll use a config, and we'll actually do that. We'll say bot army config or bot army .config.json, and this will be our config. And the way this will work is we'll pass in the Karen bot army, and then we'll say the account, and then we'll pass in the user or accounts. We'll have bot accounts, and this will be the list of users by username, password, and these are the bot accounts. These are the accounts that are going to be like actually botting, and so the way this can work is we can loop through these, and for each of the accounts you wanna Karen at, you can and try to get deals from. It'll just round robin through each of these, or it'll just well, it's all happening in parallel, so it's not round robining, but it'll just for each of the X, it'll evenly distribute the Y for the X here. Um, cool. So we have the bot accounts. Let's see. My dream is eventually every coder will be able to just generate their own bot armies. It's not really my dream. I mean, bot armies are cool, but like, I'm still trying to figure out what's the really cool angle of bot accounts. Because like, the Karen thing's cool because you can actually like make money doing that. I think there's an entrepreneurial aspect we can do with bots where we're like constantly finding. Maybe we're like talking with people constantly and trying to figure out whether they're customers. That would actually be an interesting bot. A bot that like tries to find it, like asks random people online. It goes into random discords and random like chats and tries to like ask people, like not in a weird way. Tries to like get people to like talk about issues they have with certain products, and then it'll get the result of that conversation. And the reason why you could just do this, but you could with the bot army, you could scale this up to like 1,000 to like 10,000 bots, and you could just be getting user research in random places, and then just send it back to yourself. That'd be kind of interesting. I think that'd be kind of interesting. All right, so we have the bot accounts, and then we have the company accounts, and this is just going to be an array of companies. So we'll be like Wendy's, Walmart, dot dot dot, and then we want to say notifier, email, notification, email, and then this will be yo, you're wild. If you could create an army of Google accounts and automate giving reviews to business without getting detected, you can make a lot of money. People would pay hundreds for that, hundreds or more for that. Automate giving reviews to businesses without getting detected. Yeah, 100%. I wouldn't sell that personally because I'd feel like a piece of shit if I did that, but I would 100%. Yeah, that would break the world. Um, I wouldn't do that because I'd be like, that's a little too OP. By the way, for all of these, I'm not gonna like really like sell any of this. These are ideas that I'm gonna build out, and I'll show you how it's done. You take with it what you. I'm a legit way through, in a legit way though, of course. Oh yeah, no, yeah. But even then, I'm just thinking like, is that even? How is someone gonna use that for good? But I would want to build it. Good luck avoiding Google. Yeah. But yeah, I want to build all that. It would be cool to build something that like it'd be very cool to build something that's like super powerful at just doing making bots, and then just I'll just share it with my friends. Um and then hey, if you want to do it to flag reviews or to do mass reviews, you could do that. I think at Google, a bot that the detectability thing is really hard. The IP thing is really hard because at the end of the day, what we haven't. So the real struggle of this video is we're dealing with scaling, and we haven't had to deal with a lot of scaling issues yet. So scaling, one of the big problems with scaling is when it comes to bots is having to go through bot checking forms, like the form, like they have that new form where it's like pick these two little images within like a greater image and all that. Um, so it depends on. We haven't had to deal with that yet, and I don't want to have to deal with that. I think the way to get around ever having to deal with that in the form is being like. I think the real way you get around that is breadth, not depth. Got to find a new VPN company that hasn't had its IPs used too much. Yeah, that's the thing is I think you could do this in a way where it doesn't even matter. You could use like any even a VPN that's easy detectable because you fire it off and you only do like one message per, maybe we only do one Karen message per service. We don't have to deal with any of that yet. I'm just scaling in the code first. So per machine, we'll do that here. We need to figure out. So like another thing we'd have here. Oh yeah, this email. So this is like where you want to get notified. So here we could have something that's like services. This could be a list of services to deploy. For I don't. I want to be a little bit more broad than VPNs. So we could say, we could just say proxies. They could just round robin through all these proxies. We could do that. We could do that. The problem is, so like if you do something like this where you're just round robining through to try to avoid bot detection, I promise you, it's gonna. This is a bottleneck. So this is good, but what's even better is utilizing the cloud and serverless is Lambda functions is honestly the better way of doing this. But then you have to deal with the bottleneck of Amazon not wanting you to keep provisioning. How do you really scale this up to like 1,000 without having to deal with any of this? I think it's definitely. Let me think. You could also just use time. Hmm. I. Mm, I think the best. Honestly, I think this is fine. I think this is fine for now. We don't have to worry about that for now. I think this, even though this is a bottleneck, the reason why I say that having a list of proxies is a bottleneck is because as soon as the one of these gets detected, your whole script is messed up. Install the software on all the JWordy Army computers. Yeah, true. No, but what happens when that network gets those IP addresses get blocked? I think the best way is to seem as human as possible. Like genuinely, I think that's the best way to just seem as like it's a social engineering thing. There's no personally, I don't think there's much of a way to be super to get around the traffic a ton. Anyway, anyway, so this is it's gonna work off this config. So let me go and oh wait, I deployed this freemium model for my little side thing. I want to see if it deployed properly. Let's see here. Um, hey, what's up, Vidit? So we're talking. So their residential IP. Oh yeah, no, we don't want to deal with those. Yeah, so what we're doing now is we're trying to figure out how to scale up to actually scale up one of these bot armies. I just think it's such a bad idea to play the game. So I'm like logging into this thing real quick. Oh yeah, it failed. Interesting. Or the deployment for this thing failed. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, I see what happened. Okay, I'll fix that in a sec. Um, okay, but yeah. So what we're doing is we're scaling up this bot army, and we're trying to figure out. First, we're just going to deal with the code. We're trying to figure out how to get around um, being essentially detected as a bot. I think the benefit of all this generative content is that at least the actions you do on the site can be human. I think the way to get around is be as human as possible and have supernatural interactions. And honestly, if you can, don't do headless. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way. Then attached to a GPU. I mean, not GPU, a the graphics on the computer. All right, cool. And so you can simulate actually a non-headless browser. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's get in the code. Let's go to KarenBot. This is interesting because the the KarenBot, like these bot ideas are actually super powerful. Because it's one of the first times that you can actually that you can, let's just do karenbot.config.json. It's one of the first times that you can actually like get away with building bots like this. That's like, and make it seem like human. We'll have empty proxies for now. That I find fascinating. So the username is everyday tech bro. I forgot I made the password. Also shouldn't show the password, but I don't really care. It's not a big deal. I change the passwords every video, so if you want to take the account, I don't really care. Hey, what's up, Florian? How's it going? Yeah, we're trying to. So essentially, gonna how do you attach a GUI for headless false? So let me just look up Selenium Linux graphics card. I forgot what the package is called. I haven't had to do this in like years. Maybe I could actually look at my own code. I did this for a hackathon at a company I worked for, news company. What was this? Oh my god! Why are there 7 pull requests here? What the? Wait, what? Oh, these are the random dependency bot. I was like, what? This is a private, or it was private for a long time. Wow, 7 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah, I was 19. Um, how did I do that again? All right, so let's see. Where is it in here? Where is it? Where is the trigger? Okay, so yeah, it's right. It's this right. Xvfb. So this is actually very important. See ya, Art. It's 2 a.m. here in France. Just saying hi, respecting the grind. Continue like that. Hey, see ya, Florian. So virtual frame buffer. So it's a display server that implements the X11 display server protocol. So it emulates a dumb frame buffer in virtual memory. So essentially it'll it performs all graphical operations in virtual memory without showing any screen output. So it kind of like gives you this virtual screen, so that you're kind of tricking Selenium to think, or your browser to think that there's an actual screen, and there really isn't. This is a cool thing to do. I actually suggest that doing stuff like this. Um, I do actually suggest that if you want to continue having a headless browser when you're making these, or a non headless browser when you're making these scripts. It's super simple to set up. Just look up xvfb. Okay, cool. So our KarenBot. So we have the KarenBot class here. Let's actually not use it right here. Let's create another file called KarenBot Army. Yeah, it's actually so fascinating. KarenBot. Is anyone working on anything cool recently? And let's make a bot army class. What I know I'm gonna need is I'm gonna need a file system. Um, no, yeah, I am gonna need a file system. I want to get all standard output. So whenever you're making, it's really an educational thing on multi-processing in Node. It's really the main reason why I want to do this. Well, I also want to do it and I want to figure it out. But um, the cool thing about this is being able to manage multiple processes and the standard output and deal with the memory, and also know which, like how to spawn multiple processes and deal with those the memory issues when it comes to that is super important. You don't have a lot of control when you're doing Node, but Node's pretty powerful. So let's get a spawn. So like we're spawning multiple Karen bots here. The spawn process is really cool. Oh, I did. Now we would do child process spawn. We just get the API for spawn. So spawn process is really cool because it's not, it's very normal, but they just make it a very simple interface for you to essentially generate a process from whatever your command line is or whatever your system is. It just does system calls. So if you have a Unix environment, you can do whatever commands you want to do. And yeah, so this is the caveat of using. So when we're thinking about having multiple processes, and I think this is the best way to do it. I actually don't want to play that proxy game. I think that's actually not. I think that's kind of bad. I think that's going to be a huge waste of time. Because now I'm thinking about it. What really, if your proxy, you should use VPNs the best you can. But if the network gets figured out, then I think it's better to um, move your entire process to another computer rather than having a ton of computers on a ton of different processes. Um, because I just think, yeah, unless you need a ton of uptime. Let's see. Uh, oh yeah, so we're not going to be forking processes. So when you fork the process, you're um, essentially creating a new runtime fully that's going to have its own memory allocated to itself. And there's a lot of benefits to that, but for compute, but there's drawbacks too if you have a limited memory machine. The real difference between the spawn process is all of the processes are being executed through this runtime that you're on. So when you run this node whatever file, all the standard output, everything's going to come back to this main event loop. So if you're going to be doing a ton of processing in the actual process that you're firing off, especially with the standard output, it's going to get super heavy, but we don't really care because all our processing is happening in the browser pretty much. So we're going to be spawning Puppeteer processes. So I don't even care about that. Hold on, I got to charge it up. So we're going to use spawn, and we're going to spawn a ton of these Karen bots, and we're going to Karen out on customer service. Any good companies to Karen out on that have public Twitter accounts? All right, cool. So spawn process. Right. Let's get this API. This is really just how it works. It's very simple. So we're going to spawn node, and it's just going to be Karen shell true. Definitely not. Karen-bot.js. Actually going to run the config, or we're going to open up read file sync. We're going to open up KarenBot config JSON. We're going to JSON parse that. This is our config. And let's see. So we have the config. And in the config, so let's just put this all in a function. This is a spawn KarenBot. And we're going to have n amount of Karen bots for every company account. So process is going to be for the amount of company accounts there are. I guess you could complain to multiple accounts and multiple threads, but that seems like a really dumb way to do this. So let's not do that. Oh, interesting. So this is actually, so we do want to do this. Yeah, we're not going to be using this function. So we do want to parse this. Oh, yeah, we didn't do the service email thing. Oh, yeah. Maybe let's do the service email. So I want to have a notifier email. That's fine, actually. That's fine. So here we're going to process exit, and we're going to log something to standard output. So one thing I might want to do is I might want to log all the output to log files. Yeah, let's do that. So let's make a logs folder. So let's function spawn KarenBot. We're going to pass in the Twitter account. That's all we need, pretty sure. We no longer have the service email thing. So we can totally get rid of this. Rid of this service email. You're an initiator. Yeah, we don't need this service email. I was going to do this service email thing, which we'll use, we'll like respond being like, hey, here's my account email or whatever. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. So let's make so I'm going to have a function that actually spawns the process. It's going to run node KarenBot, and it's going to pass in the Twitter account right here. And in the standard output, and actually what we want to do is we want to pipe the output to the log file. And we can say log slash Twitter account dot log. Let's do lowercase. This is bot KarenBot, and then the name. So because I don't want. I know now that I just don't like. I don't like. Let's just when this closes, when this process closes, that's when we do cleanup. That's it. I just don't like. We want to read the logs here. I don't like having to deal with a ton of standard output and processing it when you're running a process and you're just communicating to your processes with standard output. I just like reading files. Only 10x people know what I'm talking about. Kidding. I'm just gatekeeping. Everyone likes gatekeeping. I feel like tech got super soft and squishy since I first started. Because now it's everyone's like, no, you're valid if you know how to code. If you learn CSS, you know how to code. Like everyone got super soft and squishy, and that's not how the world is, though. All right, so we want to right here. We want to read the file. The world isn't actually like soft and squishy. I just want everyone to know that you're not valid. You're invalid. So let's read file sync. We're gonna read this file. And UTF-8. No one ever like got good at something from being super sensitive. All right. Like even like the best artists who are sensitive are super disciplined and self-critical. To the point that they're neurotic, which is another they have neuroses, which is another issue. All right, so Karen logs. We're gonna read this log. We'll do this in a sec, but we're gonna read the log for the output information about the deal. Okay, so this spawns it, and then we're gonna let's actually return a promise here because like I feel like in our society there's like this there's a crisis. There's a crisis. And I think the crisis has to do with people like super fixating on their neuroses. And I've done that. I'm not saying saying I haven't done that. But KarenBot or I just think it's super bad. Because the more you think about the more you like think and don't do, the more you kind of think the world is the world you're creating in your head. And then like it's like the whole everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face thing. The world is super real. Say got a deal true. Let's just do deal or made deal, and this is a boolean. And then the way this will work is we just run this process. It's actually fairly simple. So like all we do is we loop through, go to our config. We loop through the company accounts. Yeah, this is actually super simple. Oh, we have to pass in more info to our John. No, we don't. We don't have to do that. Actually, let's do this. Let's see config.company accounts. So we're saying for each company account you want to troll here. We're making a troll bot, by the way. No, it's a Karen bot. It's a Karen bot. So for each, let's make this an async function. So we're saying for each company in your company accounts, all you need to do is spawn the process, pass in the Twitter account or the company account. And in this file, we're actually going to get rid of this file here. And we're going to go, and where is it? Karen responder. Let's do this. Oh wait, no, Karen initiator. When this runs, let's make a util that says get rand account. So it's going to actually get a random account from your list of accounts. So in the KarenBot.config.json, we're going to load up the config here. We're going to have actually, we're going to just say get rand account. And the account is going to be this value that goes here. Because I know it's just the username and password. So we're going to say account. Anyone else like work a tech job and then just be like, I don't belong here? I had those feelings a lot when I first got into tech. That's part of why I do this is because like I remember there was always a moment where I was like, get ran bot account actually, where I would be here and I'd be like, what the is no one scheming here? I'd be like, you guys actually just gonna do this like 9 to 5? Like, it's like, wait a second. So no one here schemes. So you guys just like would like maintaining like sites or whatever. Like that's like what you want to do. My life when it came to coding, it was always like it was always like I got into coding purely for the because I enjoyed the thrill of it. I know that sounds funny because it's like you're like it's not thrilling, no, but it genuinely when you're doing stuff like this, and especially when you're doing like you're making new stuff, there's a thrill to creation. And I didn't even know you could like make money off of this. Swear to God, when I first started learning how to code, when I first started learning Python when I was like a little kid, like 13 or 12, I didn't even know. I was like, oh, this is like how you hack computers. It's so funny looking back. I had no idea what I was doing. All right, so we're gonna make this function to get random accounts, and this is gonna read. Oh, we have to import fs. This is gonna read the config. Read file sync. KarenBot.config.json. And then like you go and you start working at companies and they're like, you know, it's funny, but I never fit in with this 9 to 5. That's why I don't do it anymore. And I like vowed to never have a 9 to 5 ever again. I made a lot of sacrifices to do that this past year. But mostly because like I started realizing like you know what it really was? Like I never saw myself as you're an anomaly. I know I'm really weird. I have a weird life. Um, I have a super weird life. And I feel like the past few years I've been like reconciling with how weird my life is. Because I wanted to be a normal boy. I had like a I had a phase, where I was like, I want to be. That's why I was doing a fire academy. I left tech and I had the very good job, and I left in dramatic fashion, and I joined this fire academy. And it was a hard to get into fire academy, and I was in it, and it was everything I wanted to be because I was just like, let me just do a random job that like is valuable, and I was in it, and I was like, I just like I'm running away from my problems, ironically here. Like I was in the academy was great. Like everyone was great. It was super like it was exact. I liked being because in tech everyone's so like negative and like soy. So I liked that everyone was like just high energy and they like crushing and everything. But it was so like it was just wasn't like me. I was just like I need to like wake up and be like what am I doing? What are we doing today? Like I actually thrive a lot on that. Like when I really leaned into who I am this past year, I started things just started picking up. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start mentoring people. I'm gonna like do like um the like and then I once I started leaning into like who I am, I started to and accept who I am and make the sacrifices to do that. I really started to kind of be like things started to really click. Things started to really click. We're getting random company accounts here. Like there's a it's weird when you like because like when I got because I remember I had certain happy you found yourself. Thank you, Art. Because I would have certain coding jobs where I was like, well, this is how you get random values. So I'm like, I'm getting a random number from 0 to 1 like this, and then I'm just saying get the length of the string. This is how it is in every language. You just get because every language, uh, you'll have a way of getting random values, and you'll be like get the random value, get it a way of getting random numbers. They're not fully, they're pseudo random numbers. And then you can, they were using floors so we can get the bottom index, obviously. We don't want to do seal. We don't want to make it 1 to the length. We want to make it 0 to the length. Uh, but yeah, so, but yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think the world is interesting. It's funny because I'd work these 9 to 5 coding jobs. I mean, I typically, when I first got into coding, let's just return this. When I first got into coding, then we want to export this. Okay, cool. Nice. It's actually picking up a little bit. Nice. Okay, so that's honestly, this does it. No, it doesn't. There's a ton of stuff we have to do. What this does so far is like this loops through the accounts and spawns a process per account that you pass into this config right here. So it's kind of we're close to bot army. We're close to bot army. Oh yeah, but it's funny. Yeah, I remember when because I didn't really know what was gonna like happen in my life when I got into the tech world, and I remember working at like these tech companies, and I'd like do contracting, which I liked because I like that like oh you just pick up a contract and I noticed like after a while, and this is why I really leaned on entrepreneurship this past year, is I really noticed that that like oh wait, we don't want to await here. Yeah, we don't want to do that. But I really noticed, oh interesting. Actually, we don't want to do it like this. We don't want to make this a promise. What am I doing? What am I doing here? Yeah, no, because we're just gonna wait for this one to finish and then wait for the other one to finish. I'm being silly. So I could do promise all, fire off all these promises. Let's just do that rather than do async await. Let's collect all these promises. Let's do promise all, and then you like this? You like this? Isn't this cool? Then we'll get the company. Then we'll return the promise here. Isn't that cool? Any of you JavaScript guys like that? But I noticed, like, at companies I be at, like, because okay, software engineering is not typically really a 9 to 5 job. I just want to be very, for anyone like confused, it like the part of the reason why most software engineers always complain about meetings is because they actually shouldn't be there. They're like, if you're there 9 to 5, it's because they like having you around, because they like it's like a social thing. It's like a social, it's kind of a power thing. It's not, you don't actually like, the optimal software engineering role is you meet like maybe twice a week to discuss what needs to get done, and then like you're just on call, and like you meet and you guys maybe all code in the same room like once a week or something like that. The vast majority of things don't need constant development. You'd be surprised how few people need to code. Like my roles at companies has mostly been like, um it's mostly been like they just need, and this is just true, this is my life. I'm not, isn't like a, I'm not saying I'm like I'm anything special here, but I typically, when they need someone to do like a hard thing, then they get me out of the slave halls, and they're like, "Hey, Jared," and I'm like, "What?" That's always been how it's like, they like wake me up from my slumber, and I'm like, "Ugh." I'm like, I have like a beer, and I'm like, what? And they're just like, "We need code," because that's always been the thing. Like when people are too like, I don't know, that's always how it is. It's like if they need a lot of stuff done really quickly, they'll like be like, "Oh, let's get Jared on that. Like, wake him up. He's working 4 hours a week." We know. It's funny because yeah, I've definitely had jobs where I like I was really hamming it up, but only because like the performance reviews, they'll still they'll be like, "Yeah, that's fine," and I'm like, "Okay." That's not good. Don't do that. Don't do that. So we're doing this in parallel here. I'm just trying to think logically how this is supposed to work. Okay, so we have the log per. You know what we need to do that we're not doing? We should do. Oh no, we don't have to do that. Let's actually run this. Let's run this and see if we got any errors. Run KarenBot army. Run this. Uh-oh. It didn't run because I didn't run the function because I'm an idiot. No, yeah, all right, like literally most jobs, it's been like they like dust me off and they're like, we need a 10x. No, I'm not. You can't say you're 10x, right? Oh, right. We gotta touch this file beforehand. I forgot how to do that. File piping open or write file doesn't exist. I need to brush up on my Unix. So if you're piping to a file and it doesn't exist, Like if they're like they need because typically no one actually cares at like tech companies because everyone kind of knows that it's like bullshit. Mostly, typically, like for like I don't mean for like you're doing like an airplane systems thing. I mean file doesn't work with immediate piping to file. Literally, Brave search is so bad. I have to switch to Google like every time. But for like 90% of tech jobs, like because my problem, I think, working this is not advice. My problem working 9 to 5 for jobs is I feel like I typically operate on my own time. Not advice. Don't do that. Like if I feel like I'm like I'll have like a very I'll be like, well, like the company doesn't matter as that much. That's kind of my vibe at a lot of jobs. That's why I'm like, I'll just do entrepreneurship. That's not. Oh no, no, no. I think we have to pipe the file. Oh wait. Um, check file. Oh wait, no, no, no. I'm doing this wrong. Unix file output pipe redirect to file. Who cares? Who cares about that? Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Let's do let's just create the file first. Let's do fs create fs touch file. Do they just have a touch file system thing in Node? That's what I'm curious about. That it's not career advice. Like you should be very grateful for your job, but I definitely have had times where I'm like, oh, I don't like care. And like people, I think people don't need that. People kind of know what I'm saying, and I get that it's not like U times is used to prevent existing file contents from being overwritten. Well, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. We can just do open sync. Oh, no, we do actually care about that. All right, let's do this. So we want to say fs. So we're just creating the log file. What is time? Why do we care about the time? Okay, so we're creating these files. Okay. See, same with me. I can't have a boss. I want to make decisions because I'm 10x. NPC bosses are leasing. Yeah, most depression is caused because you have too many NPCs in your life and you just want to be free. And they just want you to. They're like, no, be like stupid, be like a slave. And you're like, no. It's like, what's your NPC to non NPC ratio in your life? That's all. Oh, it ran. Hold on. That's your depression rate. Maybe depression doesn't exist. I don't know. Maybe it's just your opinion. Oh, we got to await the promises. Let's see. I'm just saying how I feel, man. Forgot. Promise all. Await. I forgot. Promise all. I don't use promise all a lot because it's kind of. I just like if you have to do a lot of concurrent processing in Node, typically like this, like in your. So sometimes, so there's concurrency, and then there's parallelism, and then there's concurrency pretending like it's parallelism. Decide which one you want to live by. All right, run this. See if both of these are running at the same time. Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna like pretend like, because especially if you're like a single young man that has like, I don't know, like a future, like you don't really need to. You can be a little like, you could be a little ego involved for a bit, for a little bit. Eventually, life catches up to you, right? Oh, interesting. So why did this? Oh, I see. Right. Um, these processes are getting closed. How was the fire company? It was very cool. I mean, I was there for like a week. It wasn't like I didn't have a ton of experience. Getting into it was like super fun. And then when I was there, I was like, I literally spent 10 years getting becoming high level at a skill, and I'm giving it up for, because it was for a full time thing. Like I totally quit all this stuff. It was cool. Like everyone was great. The dude, like, even though it was very military esque, the dude, when I left, he was like, "Oh, really?" Yeah, no, it was a cool environment. I just, I was like, the scheme was calling for me. Scheme was calling for me because I had a whole like identity thing, like reshift. Because like, then that was the culmination of me realizing that no, this is like I'm thrashing. Sometimes you're wrestling with fate, and I think, and then I became Jared the coder. You see, right? Get it? All right. So for some reason, this is. I think these processes are closing. Oh, because there's an error in the file. Duh. I still need to do child on STD error. I think there's a lot to committing to um your life. There's a lot to that. Oh wait, no, there's logs right now. No, they're not in the logs. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, the process closed super quick. So you know what? I'm gonna run these directly. See what's going on. Let's do this. Yeah, I have an error here, like an idiot. Wait, why isn't it loading the error? Is it not STD error? Also, one cool thing about it is I really focused on like fitness that year where I was like where I got into that. Do kind of feel bad because I took someone's spot for that academy. Oh well, live and you learn. Oh, why is this rand thing? Oh, I know what I did wrong. JSON.parse. Still need a way to get errors. Child process. Oh, it's .std error on data. My bad. People thought I was crazy. My one friend was like, "You're like an idiot." He was like, "Dude, you're like you have like the job and lifestyle that people would like want, and you're just like gonna." 'Cause, yeah, it was like not a lot of pay at all. It's probably cutting my pay by like 2/3. No, I think more than that. And it's funny when I came back, I was like, I'm never gonna do full time again. I still haven't. Nice. Okay. Do we have two browsers open? No, we don't. We don't have two. Oh, because I'm running the single file. Okay. From the bot, the KarenBot army. Yeah, yeah, Okay, nice. They're running in concurrently, but the browsers are running in parallel. Isn't that neat? So Node.js is running concurrently, right? Because we have one single event loop, but the processing that's happening, this is actually fairly scalable because we have little mini V8 engines, which are these browsers that are doing. So that's why actually you should do your page evaluates. If you have to do heavy, this is a very important point for you web scrapers. Very important point. Why did both these buffers closed? I don't know why. But very important point. Very, very important point. Hold on. This is how you convert a buffer to a string. When you're how when you're all the reason why I do the page evaluates is because you want to have the processing out of your runtime and in the browser's runtime. How much harder is it to code while live? How does the affect coding in general? Sometimes pressure makes a diamond. Sigh. All the successful people I talk with say they wasted their 20s completely. It's because successful people always think they waste time. That's what makes them successful. They did not waste their 20s. No successful person wasted their 20s. They're successful because they use their experiences to their advantage. They just have a little demon. The thing that makes them successful is they have a demon inside of them that makes them never feel like they did enough. Does that make sense? They did not. They didn't waste their 20s. That's what they say because they constantly feel like they're running out of time, and that urgency is what makes them successful. And it's interesting coding live. I don't. It's not really different because I'm used to people like watching me code, or not, I don't know if I'm used to people watching. I'm used to having to explain code and like to people as I'm coding. Um, I remember one of my first internships. That's interesting. Oh, nice. Okay, now it's running. It is running, but I didn't run the server yet. So we got to run the Karen server. Nice. All right, let's do it. Let's connect to. I already got it loaded up. I'm prepared. Okay. Because yeah, like when I was, you understand part of why I had such a weird identity issue, or not an issue. I never had identity issue. I'm a male. I just want to say there's no confusion about that. But an issue when it comes to like who I am and all that very early is I had like, and this is just my life. This is just like the things that happen. Like I had moments where I was like when I was a teenager, I was making six figures. I was independent in a city, having like full freedom, and I was like traveling, going to all these countries, and I had moments where I didn't fully understand what was happening because none of it made sense. Because, and I'm very grateful for my family um, for supporting me, but a lot of I did a lot of it on my own. I'm not trying to be like, I mean, like the my dad helped me a lot. Um, and gave me a like for instance, I remember he saved up to get me this MacBook, and it was like an old MacBook, but and I remember getting shit for it at these hackathons because I always had this super old MacBook. But that changed my life because when I was able to finally work in Unix, that just I just was fully able to like one do Apple stuff, but two just like that gave me a lot of freedom. So like, but in general, like I did it a lot on my own. Like I hustled to get internships. I was like insanely driven from like teenager. And then there was this moment when I was like 19, 20 where I just was like, wait, what's happening? and I kind of like had to actually find myself a little bit. That's why maybe a lot of things I do, I feel like a lot of my friends think it's like super weird because I could be doing other things, but like I feel like I figured some stuff out in my lane. There's a lot I don't know, and I'm trying to show my good works. If that makes any sense. Because I feel like if you feel like you figure something out, you should try to put that into action. There's a lot I don't know though. I'm not trying to say. Let's see. Did you pay your I'm working on it, Art. Did they all wake did they all the success did they did all the they wake up at 3 a.m., do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10 km run? Um that's how you become one punch man. I feel like being um like the whole wake up at 3 a.m. thing, that's actually really dumb. Like if you wake up really early and don't get like if you don't get a lot of sleep, unless you're going to bed at like 8 p.m., but if you don't get a lot of sleep, you're actually not productive. People think you waste your life when you sleep a lot. It's the opposite. No, you sleep so you can have energy and you don't have to be addicted to like caffeine. Caffeine's good, but it's good as like an augmenter, or it's like it like boosts you. Saitama might be the only 10x. The thing is, like Saitama, his vibe, his like his aloofness is sleep. What? Hey, Maliki's here. Hey, have you been here the whole time? How you doing? Yes. The thing is, I can't talk a lot about sleep because I don't like have kids or anything yet. It's, I understand sleep is hard. Alex Hormozy says he does his best work from 6 a.m. to 12. Does he mean 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.? Alex Hormozy is selling you a product, which is productivity. So he has to keep giving you. So this is how you detect grifters. And I'm not saying I don't really care at all. I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying by grifter, I don't mean he's bad. I'm just saying that he's selling you something. So like when people are selling you something, they constantly have to push the oh, is the server running? Nice. They constantly have to push. So now we're running our LLM. They constantly have to give you new ideas because their ideas are currency. So it's like that's why it's like, oh, here's a new diet. Here's a new thing. Oh, you have to sleep like this. Oh, you have to do this. That's why Twitter works really well for influencers because they get to push ideas a ton. And someone like who's influencing in that way, they just it's like, oh, 4 hour work week. It's like these mimetic ideas. That's how they sell to you. Does that make sense? Jack, have you been here too? I don't understand. If you guys are here, say something in the chat. I do my best work from 3:34 a.m. to 4:44 a.m. Um, I do my best work when I'm dead. So I haven't done my best work yet. No, I feel no. I only do my best work 5 minutes out of the day, and I just like sometimes some days I miss it, some days I don't. No, because people like Alex, I don't know Alex Ramones. This isn't. I'm not trying to get at him or whatever. Productivity is a scheme. Productivity is important side, but it's like when they say stuff like, "Oh, I do my best work from 6 a.m. to 12." Um, no, I this is no Alex Ramosi is probably cool. I'm not trying to. I shouldn't have said anything individually. I'm just saying like sometimes when they say that things like they're just pushing another idea so that you can yeah, I'm sure he's cool. Yeah, I don't know a lot about him, but like uh the yeah, like I'm sure making money off of knowledge is not like that's awesome. Like I kind of do that, right? Like where I don't make any money on this now, but But like the but what I'm saying is like like you can see an influencer's narrative by because every time they present a new idea, that's something they can package, and it just goes up the channel until they can actually um, sell a product based on it, which might be a book or it might be something else. Uh, it might be a like a literal like, oh, I'm selling like t-shirts, and they have 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the or 6 hour workday on the t-shirt, right? Like they just so they get your attention, and the way as people we get attention is through pushing little bite-sized mimetic ideas. And the more memes you can push, the more of a funnel you have to get to push products. That's it. So don't buy anything. I can produce a lot of code, but the quality comes from going slow and methodical. Yeah, Maliki, you have like I feel like you have like the a good like a strong engineer mentality. Why are you a marketing demon? I know a lot of. I've been in some rooms in my life. Like I know how companies make money off of you with content from very high from higher levels to medium and low. Um, like it's literally like all they just make like the engine of media is just content, and they try to get as many ideas packed into it, and they try to see how many conversations can come from those ideas. So it's like a news media company, they might be like, oh, we were able to generate like maybe not on that article, but from posts and reposts, we were able to generate like 1,000 comments from this engagement, but it's literally like 1,000 comments within 100 conversations from this news article. This news article, if we topic model it, it has like 5 topics. BLM. Oh, YouTube's gonna. It has a topic about I don't know, divorce, things that are like, oh, everyone has an opinion on that. So like the more ideas they can push, the more they can get your attention and then sell you products. And then or as if it's a media company, they're directing your attention to people that have products. By the way, I've like thought about this stuff for like a decade and worked at like a lot of media companies. Not a decent amount, but like that's why I know about this. This isn't like I do have this is something I do. I try not to talk about anything I don't know about too much. You'll never see me stream about like Rust. You'll never see me stream about like I don't know, like perfume. You'll never see me stream about perfume. But if you want to hear about how companies sell you stuff, like and they target you through social media, yeah, I've helped some of these companies do that. Right, and for some reason at these companies, they would invite they at every company I've worked at and I've always been the young now that I'm like in my mid 20s now not so much. I'm like amongst the young, but I I would always I'd be like some kid, and they'd invite me into like these rooms, and they'd be like, "Hey, Jared, what do you think about this?" And then after doing that enough, this I'm just trying to tell you guys what I know. Like I'm like before the ship sinks, before America falls, I have to tell the people stop with the feeds. Or if you are, be smart about it. What were you saying about Saitama? That's my goat. Oh yeah, Saitama. His disposition is the perfect microcosm of 10x. It's the male representation of 10x. He embodies 10x in his disposition. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then so I'm just rambling here. I already kind of made it. This is more of a lighter coding stream. I just made like it's doing it. Oh no, it we gotta like test it. All right, let's test the Karen bot army. All right, let's run it. So we're running two bots, one for Walmart, one for Wendy's. Walmart doesn't have DMs. Secret to avoiding the influencer: don't be a consumer. Only buy what you really need. 100%. Stop thinking like you need to purchase your happiness. Nothing's new in the world, dude. Yeah, we can only was here already. You can't take it with you. Stop renting, dude. 100%. Yeah, like really, like get to the fundamental things. It's like, do you need? That's why for food, like be close to farms and like, go to farmers market and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how little nutrition is in most of what you eat. Let's see, is this actually done? Nope, process closed. Oh no, it's running. Nice. Are our logs working? Our log files are empty. I feel like they shouldn't be empty. Lambos are fundamental. Money is a gold sink for life, dude. Yeah. Uh, Lambos are fundamental, dude. Lambos. If you get a Lambo, you're like retarded. That's like a. That's dude. Lambos are like what you get when you think you're rich. Most successful people I know think Lambos are like ridiculous. Let's see, waiting for selector, send DM. Oh yeah, this one broke because happiness comes from living, not spending. I have a million. Yeah, 100%. Dude, Lambos are so dumb. By the way, I'm not saying like cool cars are dumb. I just mean like what I mean is the vibe. No, like Lambos are. I mean, there's way more cool cars than Lambos. There's so many cooler cars. But like people get a Lambo because of the name, and that's what I'm saying is retarded. I told Ray you can't say it on YouTube. I don't care. YouTube can suck my dick. I think like YouTube. No, YouTube's great. You guys are great. No, YouTube's cool. It's just sometimes I just imagine if they didn't exist, the world would be so much of a better place. No, I'm just kidding. No, YouTube's great. And I didn't mean to say anything bad that the machine didn't like. I'm sorry. You're valid. Real Rich, yeah, Real Rich knows how to blend in. Yeah, I'll rent a Lambo for a weekend if I need some status on demand. Art's getting it. Art's getting it because you rent the Lambo for in your scheme. So like you use the Lambo to scheme other people that recognize Lambo is a status, and then you scheme them. Or just you don't need a Lambo. You don't need a Lambo. You don't need a scheme either. All right, while Ferrari Testarossa, white Ferrari. Oh, Ferrari, yeah, Testarossa. Yeah, I like. It's funny. I do like the. I'm trying to think. It's a cool. The Ford GT is really cool. I put the Lambo on the business card. Yeah, I mean for the Lambo, you can just put it like if you want to really like. I get more happiness from giving $50 as a tip on a $5 drink than anything I can buy myself. Yeah, giving is a you like the more you give, the better. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Johnny, you don't have a image? Oh no, it's I can't tell what that is. Honestly, you could just write off Lambos. Like you can write off Lambo if you buy it for your feelings. Like maybe the way the government's going now, what if like you could have a emotional support Lambo where you're like, I was gonna kill myself if I wasn't gonna get the Lambo, and if I killed myself, my business would end. I'm imagining you go to your accountant and you're like, if I didn't get my Lambo, I would have hung myself. So emotional support. It's like if I didn't get my Lambo, I would have just blown my head off. And then your tax is like taking notes, and they're like, "So, sir, okay, you're a fucking retard." like they're like, I took the notes. In today's clown world, anything seems on the table. Our taxes would go up 5,000%. Who would? Well, no, I think there would be a distribution line that would like the distribution for Lambos would just halt like whatever. There's gonna be one small little thing that makes Lambos that is like what makes computers or something, and that's gonna like Taiwan's gonna like fall, and then the world's gonna like go into chaos because everyone bought Lambos. It's like why did like you read the like history and you're like why did Rome fall? And then people are gonna read like why did America fall, and you just see like 1,000 Lambos stacked on top, and it's like oh they were just stupid, they were just really dumb, and some of them cut their D's off. hmm. I can't I YouTube's not putting this one in the feeds. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I've accepted that. Taiwan moves to producing. By the way, I'm like done the code. Um. Oh yeah, this error is not. That's because Walmart doesn't have a direct messaging. Um. Taiwan moves to producing Lambos, but then China invades, and and America had to defend the Lambos. I like the idea of a Lambo war between the East and the West, and no one it's the Lambo War of 2023, and it's all because some degenerate streamer was like, "Hey, what if we could just write off Lambos?" The Great Lambo War of 2023. Jinx. Oh, you said that as I was saying it. Nice. No, like Jack. That's why we work well as a pot. Like our heads are. By the way, listen to if you don't know Jack and the you should know Jack, but if you don't know Jack, we do Schemology podcast. We'll be doing it on Friday. Um, by the way, yeah, if this video right now is the KarenBot army. It's kind of done. I mean, we're mostly just talking through ideas of like, if anyone does anyone want the KarenBot code? Like, I don't know if like this one, I can make code for everything, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know if people care about all the code. I wonder if China's not going to be back on its feet anytime soon. They were decimated over the latest floods, wiped out. Dude, I don't know enough about China. All I know is like if what's happening with the AI boom, they're going to make more chips, and that's going to have a huge consequence on global economics. I sound like an idiot. Yeah, if you put it up, that yeah, you want the code base? All right, I'll put this code base up, and I'll save the or I'll just link the collab in the README. The part where I talk about how we're setting up the army and doing this in parallel and that is very valuable. If you're a person that likes web scraping, go to the part where oh, okay, cool. Like go to the part where I talk about because it's a very simple script and it's the fundamentals for how you do multi-processing for in Node, and it's super simple script. But yeah, and Jack, I don't know if you were here for when I was talking about most of my experience at companies was literally like like they would like they'd be like, "Hey, we just need like no one would know how to solve a problem," and then they just it's like they like shake off the dust on me, and they're like we need the we need the kid, and I'm literally like a child, and they're like, and I'm like, and then they're like, that was like most of my, or they're like, oh yeah, we need like a ton of code done, and we need someone that's, and we'll have so that's why I'm like I don't write tests, like someone else will write tests. You're employed by predators. Yeah, yeah. Um, no, like they would just like if there was anything that was too hard, they would just get me to do it. And did you work for the Catholic? Oh, that's hilarious. Clipping what? Oh, the New York Times. Honestly, this wasn't really the New York Times. Not as much because they had some really high level people there. Um, most no, actually a little bit of there. There'd be like bugs where like people wouldn't be able to figure it out, and I just and that's not an ego thing. Like that's literally just I'm just saying my life. Wait, not huddle? What? Oh, dude, I totally forgot that. Yeah, Jack had a company called Huddle that I contracted at. I was like, it's called Massive now. Well, Jack doesn't work there anymore. I was thinking Huddle Telescope for a second. No, like every single company. They dust me off when they need me, and then they toss me away like a little hoe. Oh, YouTube. Oh man, I'm getting flagged. I'm getting flagged. I don't care. Sometimes I like maybe I'm pretending that I care about social ramifications. Yeah, code little dirty code slut. They're like, yeah, you little code slut. Some of them spat on me. You ever so and it's so funny. They'll have these like racial. By the way, at the New York Times, I was the only black person there. There's like another one, I think, and I was the youngest person in the building. Um, and I remember, so, I have a very weird life. And I was the only one that couldn't drink too, which was really awkward. But I remember there were times where I was there, and they had these like racial things where it's like learn how to not be racist, bias training, and I remember being like, why I don't need this. Like I'd have moments there. Yeah, why does color mean so much to Americans? You know why? We don't have much else to worry about in America. We're like very resource excessive or surplus. Um, we're super like we have our we're just like very we're far away from everyone else. Um, we don't have a ton of nations right next to each other, so we're just one huge nation. We have to find some way to separate. So I think race is big for that. No, like well, they'll have bias training, and then these whites like flagellate themselves for like an hour. I called them whites. I was maybe I'm the racist one, but maybe I needed the training. No, and I'm thinking like why would you do ever do? And I remember they're like, hey, did you do the bias training? I'm like, no. Everyone has to do the bias training. No, I'm not a slave. Uh, let's see. Well, that's because every other country is homogenous. Well, yeah. That's no, you're right, Jack. It's because every other country is homogenous. I don't ever do color number check when going anywhere. Maybe we were race in a mixing pot attitude here until Trudeau. Oh, you're Canadian, right? Because now they think we have racists everywhere. Well, Trudeau, true foe, he I think he's just like a part of the agenda to just destroy all nations. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, obviously. But no, like true, like people like that, you see them and it's like they're so perfect at like making people hate each other that it has to be planned. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm speaking conspiratorially again, but like part of me is just like I see someone like true toe, and I'm like, so you're just like dressing up a ton and no one's making fun of you. Maliki, that's the one thing I got to push back on Canada. Did people not make fun of them for all the dress up stuff? Like that's 51, boy raised Canadian, wife from a German family, and never seen racism up here. Yeah, we do. Yeah, no, I'm sure you guys hate him. I mean, I can't, you have to, and we are hard to make mad. Yeah, there was that trucker rally. Turdo. Nice. Yeah, no, I just think the whole like he's pulling less than 30. Oh, yeah, but the thing is polling itself, you're consenting to the fact that they can poll accurately. Um, I don't know if polling is like still an accurate thing at this point. There's been so much lobbying and like manipulation, and there's so many deals made. I wouldn't be surprised if there hasn't been like a statistically relevant poll for voting for like decades. Think about it. If you're like running, because right now the pollsters are all centralized, or they're all in that DC, well, in America, in that DC like bubble of power. So I'm just like, or at least the ones I know of, and I'm just like, so no like power player like the Blintons or something, like none of them just try to control that. Yeah, but with recent divorce, our polls are so often in love with government. But to see them show him this low, then some truth must be in there. I like what you're saying because they're like choosing to show the low polls. That, yeah, yeah, that's actually interesting. Maybe it's just they can't lie about it anymore. Maybe that's fascinating. Usually they hide it. Yeah, yeah, that's actually super fascinating because like you can just you pick and choose what to talk about, and then that engineers the narrative. That's how these media companies work. Because it's the manufacturing consent thing. It's like it's who controls how conversations are created. Because the only thing that media companies make money off of is essentially how many URLs can they post each day, and what are the ideas behind those URLs. And if you think about that and you follow that logical line, system thinking. By the way, systems thinking super big for. If you don't research that, I highly suggest it. Like CNN, most peaceful protest standing in front of burning building. LOL raffle. Yeah, so crazy. It's so crazy. It's things are messed up and no one can tell the truth anymore without heavy research. Well, you can. That's the thing is like you don't really need to. It's just speaking like because sometimes things are just true because it is. Because you can get into analysis paralysis pretty easy, pretty quick, and the way our like communication structure is right now, it's fascinating. Anyway, this one's about done. The I'm gonna post this code up. Let me know if you want. If you, I guess someone. Let's see. I have. Listen to make sure I have it, but yeah, no, true. All right, I'm gonna because I want to. Oh wait, does anyone have any ideas for? Or can you post on the Discord for stream ideas? I might make another poll. See you, Jack. because I want to do. This is just a continuation because I did some stuff I forgot. I wanted to do some stuff I forgot to do here. You've been up since 4 a.m. Hmm. But I want to do something from scratch again. I want to like push things a little further. Maybe get out of bot territory. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll make a poll. I'll make a poll. My idea, but it's my project. Can't talk about it. That's all right. But all right, guys. See you guys later.